Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here taking a look at Run Like Hell. Is it just me or does this have no music? I don't think this has any music, that's a bit odd. Anyway, though I haven't done this in a while, so I may be a bit rusty and my computer's starting to eat shit, so this might turn out badly. So, what is Run Like Hell? It's an endless, well not an endless runner, but a runner game made by the people who made Draw Slasher. For those of you who don't remember Draw Slasher, it was a game that I thought was entirely mediocre, mainly due to its over-reliance on touch controls, which ended up crippling what could have been really good combat. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Run Like Hell. And Run Like Hell, as I said, is an endless runner. We have 3 different modes, but I should probably go through the options menu first. So why did I press X there? I have no idea. We will just go back and actually check out those menus. I feel a bit silly. You got how to play with a simple tutorial, but we can take care of that. We got music and sound effects, we got the credits, and we've also got individual stats. Over here we've also got, the game calls these objectives, and you need a fair few of them in order to get a, what's the word I'm looking for? A trophy, yeah. So anyway, let's go and take a look at the story mode real quick. Now, this game's story mode isn't that much of a story. It's just guy gets stuck on tropical island with cannibals and he has to escape from the cannibals. So we'll start from level 10 and just move on our way up from there as necessary. Whoop, you had to dodge that. So, oh, that wasn't good. Okay, so the idea of Run Like Hell is as follows. You use the X button to jump. You use the square button to slide, except I absolutely failed my slide timing there. There we go. And if you collect adrenaline, you can use any button on the D-pad, left, right, up, or down. The game says that you can only use the, well, it doesn't say specifically that you can only use the right on the D-pad, but, you know, it's probably the only one that makes any lick of sense. I mean, you can use up if you like, but, I mean, up would be very confusing. It would be very, very confusing. And I just picked up a pickup that allows me to send them back a little bit. Adrenaline, you pick that up as a pickup as well. You use it, it makes you move faster. You can also jump further. You know, pretty obvious stuff, really. And the idea is to make it to the end of each level. At least that's what it is in the story mode. So let's try and get to the end without getting hit by another boulder. There we go. And that's pretty much it. So at the end of each stage, you'll see how long it took you to finish that part of the stage, and then you'll immediately be going to the next one if you so desire. And as you can see, I got a bunch of coins there. We'll get into what those mean later. I've played about, as the main menu said, about 36% of the story mode, and where the hell do they keep getting all these spears? What sort of native tribesman could have hundreds of spears like this? That's kind of insane. But anyway, as I said, I've played about 36% of the story mode so far, which means there's probably about, like, what, 40 levels in this game? There's still more, there's more to it other than that, obviously, but still. And the game itself really hasn't changed that much over the course of this, and I imagine that it really won't change much further either. I mean, I can go and check out the survival with the procedurally generated later stages, but I don't really see the game changing that much. It's mainly just been graphical variations on the same set of traps, and the only buttons you have are dodge and jump, and you've also got adrenaline, which can help you carve an alternate path through specific levels, but you know, that's really needless sometimes. So the game is getting somewhat dull already, which is kind of a surprise. Usually endless runners want to retain their sort of engagement for fairly longer than this. Because it's really just the same thing, just yep, he gets carried away for like half a second worth of cutscene and then is immediately put right back into it. But anyway, we just got to keep going and hope for the best. I really pray my computer doesn't crash right now. I do kind of have trouble with this. I got to get myself into the mindset that doing minor jumps is always the best, because if you do a massive jump, it's impossible to land and then do another jump if you need to, but if you do a minor jump, you can adjust how much height you're really going while you're in the... God damn it. But yeah, as I was just saying, the game doesn't really seem to add any new mechanics past the slide, the jump, and the adrenaline, which kind of, you know, doesn't do the game any favors. It's an endless runner to begin with, and I mean, those are a dime a dozen, pretty much anywhere. Like, I love Cannonbolt. I think Cannonbolt's fantastic. I suck at it, just like I'm sucking at this game right now. But I do think Cannonbolt is, funnily enough, I do believe Cannonbolt is actually the best example of the endless runner genre. God damn it. It got everything perfect. It had just enough engagement to keep you entertained, while keeping everything to an absolute minimum. This game just doesn't seem to balance it that well. There's only 2 mechanics and they get relatively boring really quickly. I don't know how Cannonball managed to do something along the lines of keep me entertained for as long as it did, because I played that game for like a year. I don't know how that game managed to keep me entertained for as long as it did with just like 1 mechanic, but this game's 2 mechanics just seem to bore me surprisingly easily. I think once I die again, I'll go and check out another set of levels in the survival mode. The weird thing is, the story mode in this game, at the end of every major set of stages, like at the end of the temple levels, for example, they have what's like a rhythm level, just out of nowhere, where it requires you to tap L and R just to the beat, and that's literally it. You don't even have to jump or slide, you just have to tap L and R, and do that until you win the stage. It's just... The game feels remarkably thin on the ground, and I mean, endless runners do tend to have this problem, but this game seems to be pretty pronounced in it. I mean, what you're watching right now is basically the game, just in a different set of graphical environments. There is more to it, there are more modes and all that, but I mean, it's an endless runner. Things don't get that much better. I'll just use adrenaline to climb up there real fast. Save me some time. I'll just use adrenaline again. Up and over. And we dash to the exit. Over a bog. Seriously, where did they get all those spears? So let's just go and have a look at one of the final set of stages, just to see if my theory is proved correct. We can do this in the arcade mode, so we'll do the Yeti level. Because, you know, Yetis. Who doesn't love a good Yeti? Alright, so here we go, and no real surprise to anyone, it's basically the same thing. It's just jumping and sliding, and jumping and sliding. It just looks slightly different. You may have noticed that I'm actually picking up coins in this mode. That's a good thing, but I'll explain that later, and the snowman got... He got me and he started playing Pong with me on his ancient CRT TV. You know, I have to admit, I've got to give the game points for surprising me there. Also, all those bloody snowballs. But yeah, the game just doesn't have that much going for it in the long term, I'm afraid. I mean... You might be engaged for a little bit, you know, trying to get high scores and, you know, checking out all the different levels, but that doesn't last forever. It never does. And once you're done, you're left with a game that feels surprisingly generic. The graphical style doesn't help it that much. It's not unpleasant to look at or anything. It's just so unbelievably generic that I can't help but, you know, think, oh, this is just a fairly average graphical style, and god damn, I tripped over that. Oh, he got me. But yeah, I got more coins. I'm actually getting a lot of coins now. I was going to complain that the game doesn't give you that many coins, but now I'm getting a ton of them out of nowhere. So the final mode is a versus and challenge mode, which is kind of strange. You usually don't see stuff like multiplayer modes in an endless runner game, but anyway, we'll just take a quick look at these. I actually have checked these out already. And once it connects, there we go. So we have 3 choices here. We have the big race, one-on-one, or a tournament, and we can also go to the character select, and we can change our character skin. I don't think it does anything. What I'm a little bit disappointed by is, yeah, nothing but bots. I actually ran into human players here. But what I'm a little bit disappointed by is that there's kind of, you can buy adrenaline and shields. You can buy adrenaline and shields to give to your character throughout the game, throughout the race, by using coins. And that kind of gives the game a free-to-play, pay-to-win mechanic, because you can actually buy coins. So it's kind of disappointing to... I didn't even mean to jump there. What the hell am I thinking? Wow, Windows Update just started. I've got to finish this in like 10 minutes. Okay, but it's a little bit disappointing that the game feels the need to limit itself in such a really needless way, because getting 450 coins to outfit yourself with the power-ups is actually really easy to do. So it just feels like, why is it really necessary for them to actually use them? Because as you can see, I've fallen pretty far behind, and even if I wasn't sucking so much, there's a fairly good chance I wouldn't be able to catch up to these bots. And the coins aren't really useful for anything outside of visual upgrades. Like, I could understand, like, locking visual upgrades behind a paywall, but it just seems a bit unnecessary, especially since this game costs $5 already. Making us pay microtransactions for boosts in a multiplayer race. Or, you know, just going and grinding survival mode until you earn them normally. Just seems a bit overkill, in my point of view. So there's 4-player races and 8-player tournaments. And the challenges are relatively simple things. Like, they're just levels, and you got to get to the end of them as fast as you can, and you might win some gold later on. I think it's kind of like Tales of Montezuma Blitz, how it used to do that. Let's play again. I just hope it doesn't put me in the same race. No, it doesn't. I'm actually playing this on my fat Vita, because I felt a little bit nostalgic. But let's buy both these power-ups and just hit go. It's funny how they bring in all these bots. I think these bots are actually based on people, but who knows. So, that was a quick look at Run Like Hell. A relatively generic Endless Runner. At least it does everything, like, relatively... It does everything relatively well, but that's all it's really got going for it. It's fairly generic. It's kind of feels like it's a free-to-play game at points. You know how you have to pay for advantages in some free-to-play games. Just lost my shield there. Although there is a somewhat lengthy game, I don't really think this game's worth $5. If it was free to play, maybe you could justify the need for the microtransactions. I could understand making, like, I can understand buying coins just to buy costumes, but having to buy coins or having to grind coins just to get a bit of a power-up in a multiplayer mode just seems a bit silly to me, to tell you the truth. It's an alright game, just overall, but I don't really want to play it anymore. There are about 100 other games that I could be playing other than this, including Murasaki Baby, which just came out today as well. That's pretty much my opinion on Run Like Hell, to tell you the truth. Not terrible, not great, relatively generic. Kind of annoying that they make you grind or pay for coins for an advantage in the multiplayer races. Not terrible, not bad, would rather play something else. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.